the consent agenda.
And that's the one we just did.
We need to say the consent agenda. We didn't. We just took another vote on the agenda.
Okay, I called for a consent agenda.
Make that motion.
Okay,
Let's make the motion for the consent agenda.
For approval of the consent
Thank
agenda.
you, and I'll support that.
on the floor by Commissioner Sample, again supported Commissioner Carney. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're done with the consent
Yes.
agenda. On to the regular agenda, on to
Did you add that?
County Engineer John Welly. Welcome, John.
Morning, John. Good morning. Thank you. This is actually a team effort here with Andrew Carlstrom on this item. You recall back in, I think it was the first meeting of October last year, DNR attended the board meeting, gave a presentation on an update they were doing to their public water inventory. Later in the year, I think it was early December, we received their actual proposed revisions to the public water inventory. I believe there were a total of 16 additions and 1 deletion. I know Andrew can speak to the review that his office did. My office also reviewed the proposed revisions. If you go through the revisions, you'll notice that I think all of the additions are in close proximity to public drainage ditches. So if you were to look at any one of the 16, there'd be a segment of public drainage ditch that would end, and then the protected water would start. So the jurisdiction would change at that point where the public water stopped and the public drainage ditch started. So all of the 16 were pretty much clarifications of where exactly the public drainage ditch ended and where the public water began. And going through them all individually, my office agreed with 15 of the 16 that what they're proposing for revisions reflects what is actually public drainage ditch and what is public waters. There was, however, the one segment, and we've talked to the DNR about this a long time. This is a long-standing disagreement up in Township 5225. Part of ditch 37, there's just a third of a mile segment that they've always maintained is part of their public waters inventory, and we've always maintained that it's part of public drainage ditch 37, and we've got good documentation to prove that. So that was the one addition that they're proposing to make. The revision was to make it a protected water, not a public drainage ditch. So that's the one revision that we're opposing, and I wrote the memo that was included in the memo, basically just saying that we oppose that revision.
Yes, yeah, good morning, Mr. Chair and Board. And as far as the Environmental Services Planning and Zoning Department, the shoreline ordinance, which has the public water courses in the back of it, that was never updated in 2017 when that was, so we've been operating smooth since, and so these are all just added back on, pretty much. There was one that was taken away from the public waters designation, and I believe I included that in there. That's and so really there's very little impact as far as environmental services planning and zoning. If you have any questions of me, I'll be in attendance tomorrow night. The DNR has a meeting at the library. So very little change as far as planning and zoning goes.
And I as well, I intend to be at the public meeting tomorrow night and just make sure that our letter voicing our concern with their one revision gets into their hands.
What time is that meeting?
It's at 6 p.m. at the library.
But I guess we just wanted to review these comments with you just to make sure that, that you were on board with the comments and that there wasn't
Commissioner
anything
Westerlin?
additional that we should be bringing forward to the public meeting.
Mr.
Dave?
Chair, John, would it be of any benefit for the board to take a formal position supporting your letter
Certainly, yeah, absolutely. I know I didn't state the memo that way, but, yeah, perhaps.
And then if any commissioners were able to attend the public hearing, then you could faithfully represent the position of the entire board, not just your opinion.
You're gonna be there? I plan on being there. Anyone else?
I'll be out of town tomorrow evening.
Okay,
Well, we can only have two.
okay, well, right, unless we,
Commensurate with the discussion, is there a motion?
I would make that motion to give a letter of support.
Motion on the floor to set effect by Commissioner Sample,
Second.
and that motion is supported by Commissioner LaVisca. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion's carried.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and commissioners, any further questions of Andrew or John? Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
On to county administrator reports. Dave?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, the first item is to set the salaries for the 4 elected executive positions. This should look familiar to folks who've been on the board as it's required every 4 years. And so I worked with Bobby Danielson to come up with what would seem to be a reasonable starting salary for those positions. And so those are presented as recommendations, and you can set them as this, or you can set them at any amount. Once you set it, that is the minimum salary that you would have to pay anyone who was elected to those offices after the next election.
Mr. Chair, I do have a question.
Yes.
What about the recorder? That's an elected position.
And it
I did
is-
not see that on there.
It is.
Yeah,
The
it's
second one.
on there. It's not second one.
Okay. I guess I missed that.
I have a question also, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner LaVisca?
Do we have to have the commissioner salary on there?
No.
We don't. There's no
No.
minimum for that, okay.
It's kind of an interesting history that
We took the auditor.
brought this about.
Yeah, okay.
So I'd entertain a motion to adopt the minimum salaries for these positions.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Sample moves that motion.
I'll second.
The motion supported by Commissioner Westerland. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion's carried. Minimum salaries are hereby adopted.
The next item, Mr. Chair, is to consider setting special meetings for committee of the whole discussions. And I've proposed 3 topics that I think should be familiar to everyone as things that are in the mix right now. The ambulance tax district, the Long Lake Conservation Center, and then the budget process and capital improvement plan. And I've proposed some dates as potential meetings, and I did for the ambulance district coordinate with Kevin Lee, and from
Oh,
North
good.
Ambulance, he's available both of those dates. DJ is available for that April 21st date, and then Kathleen is available for both of those May dates. And so if any of those dates and topics looked like they were meetings you would want to have, you can set them today. And then as we get closer, we may find some additional topics once we have a day set. For example, I was talking with Julie Ring at AMC this week, and she desires to come and meet with the board just to do an informal update. And so I'll include these dates as options for her as well if you.
Dave, a question on the ambulance tax district.
Yeah.
Is it February 17th or March 5th?
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to the
For-
best
to
of my
March fifth.
ability, I tried to give a little bit of flexibility so you could check your calendars.
Just for clarifications.
And then on the 17th, it would have to be in the afternoon, but all the other dates could be anytime.
Okay. I think typically we've always had the committee of the wholes at 1 o'clock.
right.
Generally,
Commissioners, comments?
The only, Chair, if I might, the only one for the ambulance taxing district is March 3rd is the beginning of the legislative conference.
AMC.
AMC Legislative Conference, so probably
The
17th would work best for me and any other attendee.
The agenda request says direction requested. Did you also want a motion, or do you want to?
If you're agreeable to February 17th at 1 PM, April 21st at 1 PM, and either May 5th or the 19th, if you can.
Do you want to look that far ahead, commissioners, on the budget process and capital improvement plan? May 5th or May 19th? It's a long road without a turn here, but
May, let me see real quick, 5th, 19th, yeah, neither of those days are Tuesdays, so. I'm fine with it myself, Chair.
what is your desire, Dave, in terms of a motion or just direction at this point?
Well, if you wanted to make a motion to set those 3 meeting dates and times, then to me, that is helpful because then it locks it in and we can start making preparations and making sure that people keep their calendars open.
Okay, I think everybody's in agreement on February 17th,
Oh, in the afternoon, right?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
And how about the budget, May 5th or May 19th? What's the preference?
Those are on Tuesdays, commissioner meetings during those times. Neither one?
No.
Okay,
No.
cool,
These are first and third.
okay. Either one's fine with me, I don't care.
I'm good with either one of them.
Want to go May 19th?
19th works.
Lori?
May?
Yeah.
So like 1 o'clock, you said? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, across the board.
Okay.
Okay, with that being said, I think we're all in agreement on the dates, February 17th for the ambulance, Long Lake, April 21st, and May 19th for the budget process, all of which would be at 1 PM. Is there a motion?
Make that motion for those dates and times. for
Motion on the
committee of
floor to set effect by Commissioner LaVisca. Is there
Second.
support by Commissioner Westerland? Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, motion's carried. Those committee of the whole meeting times are hereby adopted. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, the next item has to do with court-appointed attorneys in child protection cases. And I think some of you probably have some history on this. And so I did meet at the invitation of the court with Christy Bright and Sherry Larson on January 12th. They expressed their dissatisfaction with the amount of compensation and their frustration with the county and not raising it in many years. And so I had done a little survey of counties in the neighborhood just to see what people were paying. And 125 seems to be the general going rate for most of our neighbors. And they did say that that was not acceptable to them. And so I'm left kind of not sure where to go with it other than to bring it to you folks. And I tried to maybe paint 3 options. There's always the do nothing. And I do know that the court will still appoint attorneys, and I'm sure we're gonna continue to get bills. And we don't know who those attorneys will be or what those bills might be. So that seems like it's a little bit of risk. The second option is if there are strong feelings among the board and you want to meet with the attorneys and have more conversation, I think that's an option. You could set the rate at something greater than $75 if you wanted to, and we can just go from there. And then letter D, it does, some counties do have a flat rate where they pay on a monthly basis for all cases. And there was a desire by the 2 attorneys I met with that we would do it as a flat rate. Doesn't guarantee that they would get the work if we do it, because we do an RFP. But if we do that, that's probably a longer term solution, as that would take a while to turn around. So,
When you talk about a flat fee, are we, how do we equate that flat fee? Are we figuring the average they have 5 hours at $100 an hour, the flat fee's $500 per case? Am I getting that right?
kind of. So what I would propose we would do is we would issue an RFP. And we would say, here is some history of the number of cases, the types of cases, the attorneys who would propose are familiar with this type of work. And then they would say, I would, propose to do this at X amount per month or Y amount per month. And then no matter how many cases there were, that would be the amount they would get paid.
Here again, the agenda states direction requested to take official action may be premature until we fine tune an RFP.
Yeah, in that, in my mind, these two attorneys are waiting for some response. And so I think that's a separate action from if you do nothing, I think I would probably prepare an RFP for 2027, right? Because that just seems like the way that some other counties have gone, and it makes it a little bit, there's less uncertainty, right, with regard to how much it's gonna cost us and how much any attorney is gonna get paid.
Commissioner Westerland?
So are we all caught up on all the attorneys that have not billed us yet for some of this stuff? I know that was an issue
Yeah, I
for a
think we are
long
caught up.
time.
I do not know that.
Okay, so I mean, if some of the attorneys, you know, the local ones are probably caught up. I'm not sure. But I think that there should be, if we do an RFP, that should be part of the process. You need to get these bills in. You can't stop.
But I believe the RFP would preclude the need.
Well,
For that.
Mr. Chair, the RFP would result in a contract. The contract would have a section on payment. And
Right.
it would probably, you know, ideally, it would set a timeline that said, you know, bills need to be submitted within X amount of time.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
pretty,
because I
pretty
know-
standard
I-
contract.
I would check into that, maybe, gosh, I don't know. If, I mean, the going rate, what are they saying, $125, but they want 150 maybe? Is that, or 200? No.
No.
Do we know what the state gets?
Well, the state does not pay for these attorneys. The state pays for defense attorneys.
Okay.
So it's a little bit nuanced, and I presume that when the state increased the pay for public defenders, you were all in that conversation because it put a lot of pressure on attorney wages for county attorney offices.
You know, just look, if I may, just looking at what we paid out. One is 56,000, the next closest is 12,000. And if you look at that attorney, we're paying a lot of windshield time because he's coming from Duluth.
Right.
And
I
it's
agree with that.
and it's a port to port. Personally, since we're just kind of discussing at this point, I'd like to go with the RFP concept. And do we necessarily have to wait to engage that in 2027?
No,
That's not a leading question,
no, I understand. I mean, it's,
Maybe.
not to sound like an attorney.
I mean, it's legitimately, it's probably 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Right, to write it up, get it out, get responses, evaluate the responses, make a selection, and then enter into a contract. I think realistically, that's 3 or 4 months.
And I had a chance to discuss this with our county attorney as well. What I would like to see, just for starters, excuse me, is to proceed with an RFP concept. That's gonna preclude the need for billing. It's going to, as we know it, it's gonna preclude the problems we've had in the past. And I guess, I think we should up the pay to 125. I know they're looking at 150, but I think 125 is a compromise and maybe incentive for more local attorneys who are not paying windshield time. I'm just throwing that out,
And I would agree with that.
You said you spoke to
Jim.
Jim already, Mr. Ratz, and he's,
This is pretty much what I gathered from him.
Well, from the local area too, that's kind of the going
Right.
rate. I mean, for,
That was my same thought too, was going with the RFP and in the meantime going to 125.
And engage the 125 immediately.
Yeah.
Or Dave, what would be an appropriate time?
Since we're still in January, I wonder if January 1st was, if you started it effective 2026.
okay.
How is this going to put us in terms of our budget for this item?
We will probably be over budget. We were over budget for 2025, and under this method, it just depends on the number of cases.
Yeah. Commissioners, is everybody in concert with this concept of proceeding with an RFP and upping the rate from 75 to 125?
I just have one question, Sheriff.
Yes,
if I
sir.
might. By doing the RFP, you're gonna set, it's gonna be a flat rate, no matter how many cases they have, so it's not gonna be to where it's roller coastering, it's set. And then it can be budgeted from here on out, and we're not under budget, over budget, or, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that's all I needed.
What would you like, if any, in terms of a motion today, Dave? Probably you're gonna need a motion to up the rate. But do you want one with the RFP or wait till we have a proposed RFP for the commissioners to examine it
I'd still like to examine it, Mr. Chair,
before?
once we see it. I mean, if we're gonna go back to January first, that's fine. But my thing is, I still wanna see how it lays out.
Or it's approved?
So, Mr. Chair, to answer your question, if the board considered a motion to set the rate for these services at 125
For fiscal
per
year
hour,
26?
Yep, and then did that motion, and then if there was a consensus to develop an RFP and bring that back to you for review, that would give me
I
great
think that would
clarity.
be highly appropriate. With that being said, I would entertain a motion upping the rate.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion on the floor by Commissioner Westerland,
Support.
and that motion is supported by Commissioner LaVisca. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is passed. And do we have a unanimous consensus to proceed with the formulation of an RFP?
Yes.
Okay, and the minutes
Yep.
could reflect that, April? Dave, anything else on this?
Nope, thank you for the direction, and then I'll bring back the RFP as quick as I can get a
Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Absolutely.
AIS,
Commissioners Weedle and Sample probably have more insight into this than I do, but I will frame it up as I can, and then you guys can add the other background. But we met recently with the SWCD to talk about the AIS committee and are proposing some changes to the agreement that would clarify the AIS committee members and then also remove the amount of funding from the agreement with the SWCD. So the current agreement includes a specific amount of funding, $40,000 for the sheriff's office. And two things, number one, we know that the AIS funding is gonna likely reduce in the future, and so we might not wanna have that number fixed in stone. And also, the appropriation to the sheriff's office should be done through the budget process, not through an agreement with a third party like the SWCD. So it's just good budget management. And so if, I guess in your packet is the proposed agreement. The committee membership, as best as I can tell, has never formally been enshrined in a clear way that we have good documentation for. And so that's why it's in here. It's 10 members. There'd be 2 county commissioners. There would be 4 individuals from lake associations appointed by Aclara. One of them would be from the Aclara board. 3 of them would be from lake associations in the county with a desire to have a geographic representation. There'd be the sheriff or his designee, an AIS inspector, and the SWCD manager.
and did we not include a per diem for members? Brett?
I thought we did, Mr. Chair.
And I didn't see that in there unless I'm missing it.
You did not miss it. I might have missed it in the
Okay.
agreement. So if you would like, I'm trying to think.
Under compensation, yeah.
How much was it? I know, but
I
If
don't
we-
remember.
$50?
If we added an,
I thought it was $50 a
I think
meeting.
it
I think
was.
it was. I think,
I-
if we wanted to do that, if you look on page 2 of the agreement on membership, then there's that letter D, authority, kind of in the middle of the page. We could add a letter E that just said per diems, committee members shall be authorized per diem of $50 per meeting.
I would move that agreement as amended there.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Okay, we do have a motion on the floor by Commissioner LaVisca approving the proposed agreement as amended.
I'll support that.
And that motion is supported by Commissioner Carney. Any further questions, comments, discussion? It's been a long road here. We're on our 11th year, I believe, or 12th year. What is it? 13th year. I think it started in 13 or 14. And it's been a good program for Aitkin County. As mentioned, we've been getting roughly about $270,000 a year, paid twice a year, June and December, July, December. It looks like it's gonna be cut in half for next year. We're still on board for this year, so budgetary wise, everything should be okay. And I think at that point in time, since we're in the discussion phase, the administrative remuneration to the sheriff's office, the 40,000, that will continue for this year since it's already entrenched in the budget. And we know that the funds are gonna be coming in full. Revise that next year if and when the state appropriation to Aitkin County is cut. Further comments, questions? If not, we'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. That motion passes. Anything else on AIS?
Nothing further.
And thanks again for all your work on this, drafting the agreement and taking the time to meet with everybody. On to environmental services. We have the recycling contract.
You didn't bring enough paperwork, did you?
Never know which notes you're gonna
He
need.
gonna need an aid. Well, there they are. They're coming in now.
Okay, first item on the agenda for today is the recycling contract, and just a little background summary. I'll go ahead and read that. On November 25th, the county board approved soliciting bids to operate Aitkin County Recycling Center and the recycling drop-off locations. There's 11 of them. Bids were to be submitted on by January 9th. We received two bids, one from Waste Management of Minnesota in Baxter, Minnesota, our current contractor since 2021, and one bid from Garrison Disposal of Aitkin, our former contractor from about 1990 until 2020, 2021. The Solid Waste Advisory Committee assembled and reviewed both RFP bids from each contractor, utilizing the 7 evaluation criteria. The committee is recommending to the county board to accept the proposal and authorize entering into a contract with Garrison Disposal. Please see the memorandum and the findings. So again, a little backstory, recycling markets. I was not here in 2020, as to what happened there, but I do want to acknowledge Waste Management. They met an immediate need. In 2021, they came in and they were the only bidder for the RFP. And so it has been a good working relationship that I've had with them, as well as staff going out there. So we just want to acknowledge them today. However, the future of recycling is unknown. The state of Minnesota continues to say counties meet the 35% goal. Aitkin County is about 22%. 22, so we got a ways to go, but we're slowly making improvements. 860 tons were recycled in 2024, a big banner that we hung out at the recycling center. So citizens want easy, convenient recycling. And so what Garrison Disposal is offering now, they used to source separate everything. They're offering a commingled or single stream, so people can zip in there, drop it off, the recycling off, just like they're currently doing with Waste Management. So It was it was kind of an apples to oranges comparison. However, it was very close. It was very close. I think the proximity of Garrison Disposal, periodic site visits, I think that's gonna decrease our overage and our contamination charges going into the future. We did get hit in the busy season, such as July, for an example, of 2025. Just a tremendous amount. We're busy doing planning and zoning, and then we're also zipping out there and checking it. But just that periodic site visits, also the annual price increase, which both companies are asking for and bringing to the table. We find a little more advantage with the Garrison Disposal CPI annual price increase. They're using a more broader Midwest version, which is, 2 to 3% per year versus Waste Management's saying pretty much 5%, whichever is greater. And so if you read through both of the proposals have all the details. And so, so at this time, I'm looking for a motion accepting the RFP with Garrison Disposal for operation of the Aitkin Recycling Center and unattended drop-off sites, and authorize entering into a contract.
Commissioner Westerland?
So Andrew, does the state saying that we have to have a 30% or whatever it is, do they give us gas money for that? I mean, rural Minnesota, these guys haul all over the place, and it's so far and few between, dumpsters and whatever they're doing. There's so many garbage companies out there now. I think, just on my road alone, I think 4 come through. Well, they're coming from Waukon, maybe? Or
Okay.
Onamia. Like, they're coming from all over. But
Okay,
I know Waste Management, we had the store in Malmo, we
Yep.
owned the store in Malmo, and some weeks were really good, some weeks were really bad,
Yep.
because if that dumpster's not there, you know what they do? They just pile it in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And who gets to pick it all up? Lori, come
Yep.
pick this up or whatever, but
the owner.
get the Bobcat or,
Yep.
it's just, I know it's hard for like Hill City too, and the other areas
Mm-hmm.
that get that roll-off dumpster.
Yes.
And people still don't know what they can recycle. We need to have like a metal sign,
Mm-hmm.
do's and don'ts. I mean, right there.
Yeah.
And
Continuous
and-
education.
And I know a lot of them have cameras on them. I know we did.
Mm-hmm.
Because they used to dump stuff in our dumpster, and it's like, I know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I'd grab the stuff out and bring it right back to their house. I mean, that was back in, 2000s, but
Mm-hmm.
early 2000s. But, you want to get in trouble but you really got to be careful with this recycling thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
hope that, I know Waste Management did a good job, and I know it's going to be difficult maybe to switch, but I guess, is Garrison a 3-year contract also?
No, it'll be 5-year.
Oh, see, yeah.
Commissioner Carney?
Thank you, Chair. They will be able to support all of the drop-off locations, and will they be able to support if we increase different locations?
Yes, that was one of the criteria questions.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And they'll inspect each and every one of these sites periodically.
Periodic, the main one was the Aitkin Recycling Center, periodically,
I get
yeah.
that, But I
But
mean, like Hill City and Melmo.
Because
Yep.
Hill City's putting a new one in, that's where I'm concerned with.
yes,
And then you've got the one working quite well in Palisade.
yes.
And I don't know if any of you guys' other areas have them, yours does.
Mm-hmm.
And his is in Aiken, and you have one,
Couple, yeah.
okay.
Well, I think if they, the truck that's there that picks it up, because it's only every other week, or whatever it is, twice a month.
Yes.
So, yeah, I gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
Well, I'll adhere to the recommendation by staff is to approve the contract with the Garrison Disposal.
I'd make that motion.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner LaVisca approving the Garrison Disposal contract support,
Support.
and that motion is supported by Commissioner Sample. Any further comments, questions, or discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner LaVisca?
Mr. Ott, since you're here, I'd like to thank Waste Management for the partnership we've had over the last 5 years, and thank you for your commitment to make a transition smooth here. And, you know, personally, I'm glad to see it coming back local, you know, Aitkin County to Aitkin County, but I do appreciate the work that you guys have done for us over the last contract.
We'd echo that.
Yep.
Further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Okay.
And on to the next one. Dave, I'm gonna yield to you. The agenda says schedule at 10 a.m. for the continuation of the public hearing. Is this flexible since it's a continuation? I hate to do that.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I believe since we published notice for 10 o'clock that we in
Should
good
adhere to
faith
that.
need to, yeah.
Could we jump to the second reading?
I don't think so.
Probably not. We could do commissioner
Because that's
updates
part of
and
the
then
public
break.
hearing.
Well,
It's,
I think you could. I'm just not sure. I'm still learning how the public hearing and the readings fit together
Right.
as separate items. And so,
they are separate items.
I don't think there's a legal reason you can't do the second reading before you hold the continued public hearing. It just maybe logically doesn't seem to flow.
Well, do you want to err on the side of caution and go to committee updates?
I would think that we should err, Mr. Chair, on the side of
I'd agree.
caution, because people are gonna be coming here. They should hear the second reading.
And you know, I feel strongly about adhering to what has been published to the public. So, who wants to start for committee updates?
I will, I'm quick and easy.
Good.
Thankfully, well, not thankfully, but thanks to being sick, I missed the library meeting, so that's why I'm so quick for this week. Did have Lakes and Pines yesterday, got moved because of Martin Luther King Day, so I also missed Snake River because when that gets moved, I have meetings on the same day. So I'll get updates from Snake River in minutes and bring those back to the next meeting. Meanwhile, Lakes and Pines was just a lot of regular business, filing for grants and things from the state and federal, of course. Everybody's still concerned with, you know, potential partial government shutdown at the end of the month, so there's a lot of programs there. They did say that they believe that the heat assistance and the weatherization are safe because those have been approved for this cycle already. And other than that, you know, they're kind of keeping an eye on some other programs, but unfortunately, some members of that board seem to think that all of the fraud stuff is just a bunch of smoke and that's why things are getting, but unfortunately, that's not the truth. The fraud is there, it has to be found, it has to be taken into account, it has to be held accountable, but at the same time, we do have to be careful not to throw everything into one pot and call it fraud, right? I know in our county, we're really good about what we do. I have no concerns with our county, but the fact of the matter is when it's this broad, things are gonna be affected until it gets sorted out, so that's it for me.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Sample?
Well, AIS seems to be under control now. I look forward to good meetings in the future. I had a meeting and our administrator and Mark Jeffers were at with Congressman Stauber yesterday. And we know in rural Minnesota, I know, Mike, you have the problem in Palisade with their sewer and water. The unique thing that Tamarack's doing is across the county line is the city of Wright. They're looking, because they both got an update to doing the pond system, going together. So even though it's two counties and two of the cities, Congressman Stauber expressed interest in making that one of his 15 projects. he give them some goals that they gotta meet by 1 March. And correct me, Dave, if I leave out anything. So they're already on top of this, and I think that's gonna be the wave of the future of these cities having to combine. So that was an interesting meeting. The next meeting on that's gonna be February 6th at the town hall in Tamarack at 11. And I've already talked to some of the state legislators that are gonna be there because they are gonna have to request some bonding money down at the state for that. So that was my meeting yesterday. Airport meeting for me for McGregor Airport is Wednesday night. Commissioner Kearney, with the passing of my father, I wasn't able to attend the meeting, the joint meeting over in Bemidji, and Commissioner Kearney made that for me, so I'll pass that on to him.
Do you have any other committees?
We got economic development tomorrow afternoon.
Commissioner Carney?
All right. On the 13th, thank you for the administrator and personnel that showed up to the State of the Band address. It went well. They have a path forward. They've had a lot of changeover in management, and I guess that's a trend. But they seem to have a handle on it, and it looks like good things in the future. Hopefully, we can create that bridge with them and continue to do good things. I attended the ACAT meeting on the 15th, on Thursday evening. We have North Ambulance was there giving a briefing on financial losses, which they'll be coming to the board, I'm assuming, some point to
Committee of the whole.
to brief us on their views. Reno was there giving his briefing about state stuff and of course the fraud and the immigration and all of this stuff that's in upheaval right now was discussed among the board there. We had a moment of silence. I don't know if anybody remembers Bob Martz from Wakanabo, longtime township member, passed away earlier in the later in last year. So that's for the ACAT. Nuts and Bolts was canceled. So due to the things going on down in the cities, AMC canceled that meeting. They'll set it up for a later time in the year. We had planning commission last night. Everything went well. It was a quick meeting. We had one business. Give me the name there. Help me with that, Andrew.
Bergstaller?
Yeah, Bergstaller out by Unclaimed Freight, going to be putting in a new business, manufacturing, which is great. So, and everything looks good. I think the only topic of discussion on that was whether they needed to have a turnoff lane and if MDOT was going to do it. So we put it back on. The commission decided that it's really not a county issue. Let's let the landowner meet with MnDOT and find out what those requirements are.
But you would think MnDOT would be part of the permit on 169.
They were silent.
Yeah, they
Seriously?
they didn't respond back, so that's why we said reach out back to them.
This would be
Don't have any
210.
money.
Right,
Yes, sir.
and then I
I mean,
did,
210, not 169.
Yep.
Yeah.
right. And then I did attend, like Commissioner Sample said, a very generic meeting up there. We've had the discussions of whether Aitkin should stay involved in it. We're talking with the administrator, and I guess it's something as a whole we have to decide, is there any benefit to it? I enjoy that meeting up there because they do talk about the wolves and the elk problem and what DNR is doing. There is a DNR representative there, and there's a water soil one that gives a briefing. There's funding out there for water for cities through the Soil and Water Board this year. There's grants coming out, so we need to keep an eye on that for our communities. But other than that, sir, that's all I have.
HHS advisory?
HHS, thank you. We did have Health and Human Services Advisory Committee, yep. They had the elections. The new chair is the pastor, help me.
Andrew Jurgensen,
Jurgensen will take over as the
Assemblies
chair.
of God pastor.
The the previous chair had dated out. His time on the committee had expired, and therefore we had to do a change. He'll still attend, but he won't be a voting member, and then he sets out sets out a year, and then he can come back in as a member. CARE, representative, Aitkin Care, right. Aitkin Care representative has removed themselves from the board. They won't be participating this year. She has a lot of things on her plate with the moves and all of that, and thought it would be best to have another individual in there. So, other than that, that does complete it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Westerland?
Yep, I had the care board meeting on the 20th. Lot of little ups and down things going on there. The Aitkin Care is now located by the Weedery in the same building and the Posh hairdressing salon. Palisade Community, the Palisade Care it's called, will in Palisade, the city, is
Right,
housing
City Hall.
them.
Yep.
And they're letting us use, or using garages for the vans, I think one or two anyway. We are looking for people to help drive our vans. They have to be qualified, they have to be screened. We've been burned twice already. We have a need for it. People are calling all the time, and we can't, we only have, well, we just got another driver. One of the leadership team is gonna switch over and take a driver position. It's insane how many people want and need transportation. So we're working on, it's a lot to try to get somebody. So other than that, lot of grants will not be coming back. Northland Foundation didn't really have anything to offer this year. Possibly, they're gonna let us know, but I highly doubt it. We are prioritizing what our needs are, where we're gonna be, who we're gonna support. Of course, the foot care has boomed. We finally got a decent foot care, and that's in Aitkin. People love it. I mean, it's just a wonderful, we got a new chair, we don't have to carry buckets of water. I mean, it's not a rinky-dink thing here. It's all professional, and you get a nurse, and I think we are increasing the cost to $35, so we can pay for that nurse. So there are gonna be some increases in a few of our services. Anyway, just if you hear about any type of grants, shoot them over to Amy Wyatt at CARE. She would appreciate it, because we're really gonna have a.
Have they tried the Kenneth Keller Foundation? It's right in their back door.
The bank, yeah. Well, over by, well, I told her to
It's
try
a separate
Talon.
entity from the bank.
Is it, okay, yeah, I'll let her know. If there's anybody that you want her to, provide services for, or learn about the services, she'll speak to your church, your community, Lions clubs, whatever, and let you know what's going on out there. And I should say, we are not going to be doing the vets because we lost over $900. And they just, the VA, we've been round and round and round with them, and they just don't, Amy had said she went to the VA, talked to somebody, they connected her. By the end of the whole conversation, 45 minutes, she was back to the first person she called. And Penny Harms has been great. And we do have a couple of vets that we're allowing to stay on the housekeeping type thing. But yeah, I mean, we were hoping that would be a great source of help for this area. But anyway, Arrowhead Counties met the 21st. I did ask the question to John Ungaro, where's Peggy Flanagan? Have we even seen her? I mean, I know she's running for Congress or something.
He's gonna run for the US Senate.
Yeah, or whatever it is. I just think that's really crazy that you haven't seen her. I haven't seen her in forever.
Is she supposed to be a sitting member?
She's
or is she-
governor's
Lieutenant Governor.
lieutenant governor, yeah, so, no, I'm just saying that,
But there's
it's like,
not
where's
many.
Waldo?
Right.
Anyway, well, Wanda maybe, where's Wanda? Jason is going to keep the chair position. John is the vice chair, and Ginny, from Lake County, Jason's from, International Falls.
Itasca. Which one are you talking about?
Jason,
Jason's
yeah,
Cooch King.
John is Itasca.
John is
Yeah,
Itasca.
and Ginny's Lake County. Or no, Cook.
Cook County.
I get them all mixed up. It's been a while since I had to report on anything or talk to anyone. No, sorry. We talked a little bit about talent medals during the roundtables, the auditor recorder positions that are, everybody's up in the air still about, do we want to get it out of the elected position? I told everybody the HHS remodel is going great, and I hope that it really gets going. I mean, it's been really super cold. I hope they have heat in there at some point here. That's really about it. There, with all the stuff going on in the Minneapolis, I'm just sad that runs the whole state of Minnesota. So,
And-
anyway, yeah,
Now you know why veterans in this county
yes,
are so upset with, when you talk about what CARE's going through,
yeah,
that's the runaround.
yeah,
And we're very fortunate to have Penny Harms and Josh.
we are.
They are two of the best in the state at taking care of our vets and just trying to get reimbursed.
Yeah.
Think about our veterans out there and what they go through.
Yep, it's not a good thing, but that's really all I had.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner. Aitkin County Water Planning Task Force met, and it was fairly routine, largely a recap of AIS discussion, nothing real specific. Hopefully, we will get updated reports, statistics in terms of number of inspections, number of decontaminations, the PenMac fees, the employment agency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I had that meeting, thanks Commissioner Carney for covering HHS advisory, greatly appreciated. And the Solid Waste Committee met, you saw the fruits of those labors. And the Aitkin Economic Development Authority met, and we did grant a revolving loan to Rosalini's for an exhaust system, which they desperately needed.
Sure they did.
And it was kind of a unique thing. My first question, because the bid came in from Tennessee, Kentucky, somewhere. But those are the ones that installed the ovens, and no local bidders wanted to touch it.
Nope.
So, that loan, revolving payback loan, 0% was given to Rosalini's.
It's fantastic.
And I think that is all that I had. Something I'd like to note to everybody, Aitkin County Historical Society, Lakeland Public Television, that's out of Bemidji and Brainerd, will be featuring a presentation this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. And again, it's Saturday at 7 p.m. on the Depot Museum. It's going to be really interesting and a good plug to Aitkin County and the Historical Society. So with that being said, can we take a 5-minute break and then we'll go into the continuation of the public hearing? Is that okay with everybody?
Absolutely.
That's good about Rosalini's, I like that. I like that.
we explained our position of why we were doing that, to have a representative northeast, representative northwest, and a representative southern,
this stupid thing.
that
When
they
you do
just
these
took our
updates and you
representative to
just-
wetlands. Which. So-
Let's call the meeting back to order.
Just don't want the change.
And I just want to continue one of the committee updates. The Aitkin Airport Commission met. We're proceeding with the terminal grant. And we did get a very complimentary letter from Congressman Stauber. Very personal, and it went right to the FAA regional office. So thanks to Congressman Stauber and his staff. We will now go back to item 5B. And I will just, this is a continuation of the public hearing. I'll turn it over to Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just again to remind our historical context here. November 17th, 2025, the Planning Commission approved the proposed amendments to the Aitkin County Shoreline Management Ordinance. A public notice was published in the Aitkin Age on December 24th, as well as on January 14th, and of the continuance of this public hearing today. In accordance with Minnesota Statute 394 and Rule 11 of our procedure of the board, 2 readings shall be conducted prior to the adoption of the amendment. The proposed amendments brought forth by the public and recommended by the commissioners, and in addition to what the Planning Commission previously recommended, approving are as follows. So, section 7.22, reintroduce the original language back to 1/3 of the trees and shrubs greater than 5 inches in diameter, 4.5 feet above ground level, diameter, breast height, DBH, and section 7.22B4, emboldened, may be allowed with an approved vegetation alteration permit. To ensure the reader knows a permit is required, please see the attached public notice memorandum with a proposed summary of changes and a proposed resolution. So at this time, we're familiar, I believe there's 4 sections. Again, most of the updates in the Shoreline Management Ordinance, can't say it enough, are administrative. They are to get us in, the last amendments were done in 2018, and so there's some new terms out there. We wanted to get the language in line with state statute, as well as organization is much improved. We've even added some color in some of the classification, some of the tables to kind of grab the eye. We've reorganized some of the sections. So again, I can't thank my staff enough for the great job they did. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Excuse me. With that being said, we'd now open this meeting to public comment. Yes. And Becky, if you could just state your name for the record.
Becky Sovdy, thanks for giving me this moment. I just have a question. When I looked at what is on the board packet, it didn't seem like the 1/3 of the trees, 1/3 of the shrubs was added back in.
Yes, the latest copy that's on the webpage for Environmental Services
Okay.
Planning and Zoning is the correct one.
Okay,
Yep.
I guess I just missed that.
And that would
because-
be
So
on
that's
the
good. I
agenda.
really appreciate
Yes.
that, because otherwise we lose 100% of the saplings, and that's the next generation's trees. And, again, it's nice to have that balance there. Okay, I just had a question on that.
Okay. Thanks, Becky.
Otherwise, it looked really good, I thought.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Further public comment? Do we have anybody online?
No.
Again, second call for any further public comment. Last, third, final call for public comment. With that, the minutes will reflect that there were no further comments, and the public hearing section of this meeting is hereby concluded. On to the second reading. Andrew?
Yes, sir. The second reading amendment to the Shoreline Ordinance, discussion only. Again, just to let it set in with folks, and
And just as a point of information, this will be the second reading action will not be taken today, but just to give the public more time to digest. And this will be on probably our next agenda.
Yes, sir.
Dave, Andrew, come before the board for action. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yes, so again, as we talked, the changes are in the memorandum and as well as the public notices. So a summary of the proposed changes are as follows: administrative additions and revisions and definitions. So we're looking at probably 20 or 30 new definitions in there to guide us. Again, really, I'm of the theory, the more information, the better, because people do, we want to all protect our shorelands, we want to protect our lakes, and so the more information that's organized and legible and understandable, the better. Section 4, the second one, that was section 2.7. Section 4.25, administrative update of the classification list for land use, and that's usually one of the first things myself and staff go to. Well, what is that? Is that allowed on a general development lake? Is that allowed on a recreational development lake? And so that has been updated to add data centers, to add farm wire. Obviously that's not permitted, but we're adding this language because we're seeing these trends in land use planning. So we just want to make sure it's in there. Solar's in there, micro distillery, all the cannabis businesses, again. So please familiarize yourself. I encourage the public to familiarize yourself with that new classification list. And then section 7.22, that's where we had our proposed changes. We had good public input last public hearing, and we reintroduced that original language. And I think everybody was in favor of that option A, and option B makes it real clear. Again, this is for only properties that have never been developed, and so again, those are becoming less and less across the state, across Aitkin County. And then finally, section 9.82, we just felt we had to have a definition of open space, common space, open space, and just some administrative verbiage in there. So that would be my second reading, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
And then we will put a motion to approve on the next, I believe that's February 10th, I think.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, Commissioner.
Andrew, I'd like to get a copy of this to my Big Sandy Lake Association,
Yes, sir.
so that way they see the changes we're proposing.
Sure.
And I
Yes.
know another big thing, when we did this on the ordinance committee, was a lot of the hemp stuff is something that in solar was all new that was added here.
Yes,
So
sir.
thank you
Yep.
and your staff for that. That's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. And commissioners, are there any other items you'd like to bring to the floor?
I would just like to thank Commissioner Carney for helping me out yesterday. I was on my way back from South Dakota. So, thank you, Mike. And, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
for-
thank you, and our sympathies to you again. Being no further business, Dave, any
No, Mr. Chair.
concluding comments? If not, motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Sample moves adjournment, support.
Sec-
Motion supported by Commissioner Carney. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion's carried. This meeting stands adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, Andrew, just
get
get
you a
me,
copy.
just get me a copy. I'll get this. One of our big signs.
Yes, perfect. I will do that, sir.
Yeah, I called Jim Ratz yesterday. and